Let's see, morning folks. There we are. Front facing camera. All right. Got a few folks here, so good morning everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's bring that down just a little bit. Again, I hope everybody's doing all right. It's kind of cold out here today. Actually, here in the shop it's pretty warm because I left the heater on last night. Warmed the place up because we got pretty cold this morning. We got down to about 36 degrees freedom units here. And anyway, so yeah, we're kind of getting fall weather already in May, which is weird for here because normally we're dealing with really warm temperatures and thunderstorms every day. But anyway, all right, cool. Thank you, Rune. I don't know how my laptop is showing because right now it's showing no viewers, but one like. But I know it's been going up and down. Let me look here. Let's see. Okay. Stream is looking healthy. Anyway, I'm going to give it a few minutes. Let's see. I'm not sure if I'm on the Wi-Fi or not. If I'm on the Wi-Fi, we might have some issues. Let's see here. Hang on a second. Get the router in the shop set up again, and to upgrade Wi-Fi routers. We have to have the Wi-Fi in the laundry room of the house because that way it'll reach out here to the shop and then also reach inside to the bedroom, which is where the main television in the house is. So anyway, it's kind of a balance. We'll figure it out. But let's see. All right, got a few people showing up. What are we gonna do today? Well, if you read the description or read the description of the video, I'm gonna prove a point. And the other day at work, I met a locksmith who's wearing a really cool locksmith t-shirt, and I'll have to try to find it and post a picture of it on Twitter or something. But anyway, I struck up conversation like I normally do whenever I encounter a locksmith in the wild, and we got to talking. I told him I was trying to get into it, and where I asked where he had his business at, and things like that. And he, I told him that I got into it from trying to learn how to pick, and he said, well, have you picked any of the really difficult cylinders to pick? And I said, well, yeah. And he said, have you picked anything with a mushroom pin in it? And I just kind of grinned, and I said, yeah. He said, what about those Schlage F-Series cylinders that have the nasty little T-pins? And I said, yeah, I've picked those. I said, but if the T-pins are inserted correctly, I said, the narrow end is up in the spring because it's a compressible cylinder. And he said, well, I don't know, they always are really difficult for me to pick, and I always just drill them out and replace them. And Rune, I know your theory on drilling locks as opposed to picking them. And in your case, yes, out there in the land of Ruko, it makes much more sense from a time and effort standpoint to drill a lock out and then replace the entire cylinder as opposed to trying to pick it. And because some of those, if you sat down to try to pick, it would take all day, and you would be able to get one unlock per day, and you wouldn't be able to make any money off of that. So I understand out there, but you know as well as I do here in the U.S., if you can't pick something simple like a 5-pin Schlage, you know, is, okay. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, I said, you know, look, I've picked Medeco locks. And he started laughing at me. And he said, nobody can pick a Medeco. He said, Medeco locks are unpickable. Flat out. And I said, no, I've done it. And I've done it on camera. And, you know, done it in one continuous take to show everything. And he said, I'm not calling you a liar, but nobody has ever been able to pick a Medeco. That's why they offer a $1 million reward to anybody who can pick a Medeco. I'm like, sign me up. I've done like 4. You know, where's my $1 million? I could use that right now. Anyway, then of course he said, well, you know, it's $500,000 now. And I was like, okay. And anyway, I got on Lock Chat and shared that over there. And Night Owl shared with me the story about how Medeco back in the 60s did offer a $500,000, or excuse me, a $50,000 reward to anyone who could pick their new, you know, at the time, new high security lock. And they stopped that campaign after a police officer from New York picked it and, you know, picked it open in front of them, and they paid him $50,000, which today would be, you know, in today's money would be quite a bunch. But anyhow, when I encountered this guy again later in the day, he said, you know, I told him, I said, look, that was back in the 60s, blah, blah, blah. I told him the story. And he said, well, that's just what my dad told me. I don't really know. So I was like, you know, okay. And so I got to thinking about that. And he's not the first locksmith in the wild that I've ever met who has said that nobody, quote unquote, nobody can pick a Medeco. And I'm like, I've done it. You know, as a locksmith going to a lockout call, no, I probably wouldn't. You know, if I were doing that and I were doing lockout calls, no, I wouldn't really try. You know, I would start off with a pick and see if I couldn't get it, because sometimes you have lazy locksmiths who only put in, you know, 3 pins to the lock, which obviously would make it a lot easier to pick. But beyond that, you know, you need to get people in, and it would be easier to replace the cylinder than it would be to spend all day picking. But just to prove a point, because I'm a little bit stubborn, just to prove a point today, I'm going to pick this guy. You can see right there, it's a Medeco, if it'll focus. Yeah, it says it right there, Medeco. I believe it's a 6-pin. I've never taken this one apart. I have picked it about 3 times off camera, and it was one of the ones I got from Chris Aaron's a while back, and I picked it, never did it on video, so today we're going to do it on video. The others that I have picked, of course, you saw these two, this mortar cylinder and this Kia knob cylinder that I got from Bill Bacardi a long time ago. Both of these have been picked in video just the other week on that Medeco Monday video I did. And then this video, or this jumbo size Medeco cylinder right here, which is awesome to have in my collection. I got this from Bill Bacardi as well, and I've picked it, but not on camera. Maybe I'll do a video on that sometime. But anyway, let me catch up on the comments real quick, see who all's here. Good morning, Kevin. Don, early good morning there. Good Sunday morning. Let's see, who else? Yeah, Rune, I told the guy, I said, I actually showed him on my phone. I took my phone out and showed him my YouTube channel, and as he was leaving, I want to say he was kind of an undercover Frank, just because he kind of had that little bit of attitude about, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm talking about, I've been doing it for 20 years. And I get that to a point. I get that way sometimes when people approach me about police work. But if you're in police work, then you sort of know a few other details. So I don't discredit people who are in police work, even if they started last year or they're still in the academy. I might give them a few tips, but, other than that, I don't just completely throw them out the window. This guy sort of just laughed and he said the phrase, "I don't want to call you a liar, but," I don't deal well with that. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, it would have been nice to get $1 million. And Don, he wasn't really that old. He was, I want to say, probably mid to late 40s. Said he'd been doing it for about 20 years, so, I don't know. But anyhow, let's see. Good morning, Mike. Glad you're here. Yeah, Don, I kind of hope he does watch this video. I'm not being mean. I'm not putting him down. I'm just going to try to prove that I'm not a liar. So, anyway, Don, I wish that were true. I honestly wish that was true of all cops. Unfortunately, it's not. But those cops who do lie, we route them out faster than anybody else does. Police officers don't take well to people lying to them, especially not other officers. We're used to it from the public and people we deal with, but other officers, not so much. Nope, we don't do that. Good morning, Fred. Glad you're here. So, like I warned everybody, this may be a long video. I'm going to go ahead and get switched down here to the bench. So if you drop in, drop out, whatever, I understand. I'm going to unplug that right now. See if we can get the video or the camera adjusted. The streaming software that I started using just doesn't like to change from portrait to landscape that well. There you can see this is a Medeco, and I'm going to use this awesome 3D printed cylinder holder that I got from Bobby Keys a long time ago. I like using my big long flat pry bar. You can see that it is most definitely locked. And when we get it open, we are going to take everything apart, show that everything is there. I did pick it last night just to practice a little bit, but I did not take it apart, and I sort of picked at it some this morning before starting the video, so I'm raking through it just to make sure those pins are rotated. If you're new to picking and watching this, or new to Medeco or don't understand how Medecos work, we'll look at it a little bit when we get it apart. Then basically what you have to do is you have to both lift the pins up to the correct height, and then you also have to rotate them. And the rotation allows for little teeth in the sidebar, which we'll look at, to fall in. Lets that sidebar fall in and lets you turn the lock. So I'm going to go ahead and get moving. Rune, this one definitely does have a sidebar. And when I pick Medecos, I almost always pick them counterclockwise. I'm trying to get the camera to focus here. I'm not sure why it's not focusing. It's focusing back here on my shopping list. But we'll see here. All right, so I'm putting just kind of light tension and just kind of pulling my pick in and out. And I can feel little clicks and a little turn on the core. Let's see. And when you first approach these, the reason, to finish my thought I started a minute ago, the reason why I go counterclockwise is that typically tends to bind up the sidebar first. And so when the sidebar is binding, you want to concentrate on rotating the pins. And the way that I pick, some people use picks with a flat top and a little notch cut in it, so they can grab on the beveled edge of the pins. I just prefer to do this, and then I'll reach in and I'll sort of sweep my pick back and forth like that and try to rotate the pins that way. Okay, got a little click after kind of pulling around one. I think it was close. There's one. I'm reading comments while I'm doing this too. Don, I will take you up on that. Finally be able to get out of jail with $1 million Monopoly dollars. And I realize that this isn't a realistic setup with this mounted in a door or in a padlock. But, it's the principle of the matter saying Medecos unequivocally cannot be picked. That's my whole issue with this. That's why we're doing this whole video. And I'm doing it live because then nobody can argue that I did any trickery or gimmicking or anything like that. And once you get the pins rotated to the correct position, typically you can kind of leave them there and let up on your tension again. Just as long as you don't push or pull them around anymore. Okay. I'm getting slight turns on the core. I think it's time to start going up and down with these pins. That's probably an overset. I'm going to let it down. And when you think you've got the sidebar set, you can sort of increase on the tension in order to get a little more feedback from the pins themselves. Because Medeco pins are very sensitive to overset. To me, it's almost easier to set the sidebar first and then worry about oversetting each pin. Yeah, Fred, with some of these, I have a consistent way of working through picking them, but I don't, you can't throw me one and I get into it right away. But I do have a consistent approach. And I think that's what really matters with these. That little mortise cylinder Medeco that I have that was in the video the other week, it's sort of an easy one. And I think it's just because of the bitting on it. And then the other key and knob cylinder that I have with the key, the skew cuts are mostly all the same. So basically the front one is cut just different than all the rest of them. And they're all angled. So you can basically just sort of, not really rake it open, but you can rake the sidebar. Yeah, Rune, you are correct. The whole point of higher security locks, is to delay the time that they can be opened without the key. That's the name of the game, is to make whoever is trying to pick the lock have to take longer time and either get fed up with it or give up on it. Have the dogs come loose, whatever. That's the whole point of a lock, is to delay the time it takes to open. Anything created by human beings can be defeated by human beings. And, so if we just make it take longer, then we're accomplishing the goal. Yeah, Don. Back when I was on the road, yeah, that was the name of the game, is to get there and actually sneak up on them. I loved sneaking up on people. Apparently, I was kind of good at it, and I'd just wait till they were in the middle of doing something they weren't supposed to be doing, and then walk up and quietly say boo. That actually happened one time. We had a guy that had been going around trying to peep in windows, and anyway, I caught him. I was out on foot patrol one night, sneaking around the same place where he had been sneaking around, and I saw him really looking, and snuck up behind him and just said boo, and he got so scared he ran off, and I was laughing so hard I couldn't run after him. All right, hang on a second. My internet, the Wi-Fi for the laptop has gone out again. Let's see. Okay, I think we're back on the laptop now. Let's see here. Sorry about this. I'm not gimmicking anything. I'm trying to deal with the daggone computer. Okay. Don, I've never watched that show, Live PD. Thought about it, but, classic episodes of Cops from the early to mid 90s. Mainly just to see all the awesome hair from that time period. And just to see how things have changed, knowing how laws have changed here since then. It's just sort of funny to me. Sort of like looking back towards some of the dark ages. All right, I think we're close. Yes, I did just reset everything. But I think I had overset maybe one. Let's see. Two. Like I warned you guys, this one isn't going to be action-packed, but I'm trying my best. Sort of wanted a video to be able to point to and say, look, here I did this on a live broadcast. Tell me now that Medecos can't be picked. Yeah, Rune. I can't pull off a mustache. I tried to when I was working as a school resource officer. one of the 8th grade students was very proud of his little mustache that he was growing and challenged me to see if I could grow mine out any faster, which of course I can, and I did, and I actually kept it for about 2 weeks. But then the kids in the 6th grade started making fun of me for it, and I gave in. I said, I can't have 6th graders making fun of my mustache. That just, no. It was funny. I enjoyed it, though. Don, yeah. The 80s were a wonderful time. Early 90s, too, but yeah, late 80s, early 90s. The newspaper for the town where I'm from, where I moved from last year, they do little Throwback Thursday features online, and I'll look at them, and it's where they go back through the history archives for the local newspaper, for their own newspaper, and they will highlight interesting stories, advertisements, and it's just fun to watch. I've actually found myself in a couple so far as a kid, here and there. I was in the newspaper way too much as a kid, thanks to my mother. She wanted to make sure I was well publicized back then. I don't know why. I hated it, but oh well. Yeah, Fred, and I'll tell you this, most people think this is funny of me. I actually don't like watching most police shows. I used to watch, like Law and Order and stuff. And then I became a police officer, and I'm like, okay, no, that wouldn't happen that way. That wouldn't happen that way. There have been a few police shows that I like watching. But really, I just don't care for it. It's like if you work in the steel mill industry, you don't want to go home and watch, the real steel workers of Detroit. I mean, sort of the same thing. All right. I'm going to rake this guy out again. We're going to do a complete reset. Don, the sad part is that my mustache makes me look like, it makes me look like me with a mustache. Not much different from when I was in 8th grade, growing my first stash. It's like, okay, this is kind of cool, and in reality, it's like, ugh, okay. Yeah, I tell you, man, those 6th graders can be brutal sometimes. They're at that age where, they understand things, they're saying a lot more things, but yet they still call it like they see it, like a little kid. And yeah, they're brutal. God. Yeah. Drug lords, but not the 6th graders. That's about true. Hey, Night Owl. Glad you're here. Again, not a action-packed video. Sort of proving a point. Remember the little thing I posted on Lock Chat the other day? This is just to basically prove that person wrong. Although I've been spending quite a good amount of time picking this. Not practical for in the wild, of course. Okay, number 3. Yeah, Fred, you don't want to watch Cake Boss or any of those cooking shows. I can understand that. Yeah, the primary schools here, I had to do more paperwork on little kids than I did the middle school kids. Which, I mean, it really is sad, but they can be just horrible in their own right sometimes. Of course, it's a different day and age now, because if I had ever behaved that way at that age, I would not be able to sit down to this day after my mother would get a hold of me. Good morning, Miko Wolf. I don't think I've ever seen you here before. Yeah. I may try going clockwise here in just a moment. In fact, let's try that now. Get this. See if we can get these top pins set. I'm pretty sure I had a good false set with the sidebar going the other direction. Never really been successful going clockwise with Medecos, but it's first time for everything. Yeah, hopefully customers who want non-destructive entry for high security locks would understand that it does take time to pick. Okay, I've got a little false set there. Okay. When I practiced on this lock last night, like I said, I've only gotten this one open like 3 times, all off camera. There we go. Sweet. Woohoo! Only took me, 30 minutes. I'm going to keep that in frame. Set the vise over here. Adjust the camera so that we can see everything. Get it up close. Yeah, Night Owl, that's what I normally try to do, is go for the sidebar first and then take the rest out. So let's see here. See if I can get this clip out of here. Like I said, I've never taken this one apart before. Let's see here. Yeah, I need some pliers. Yeah. $1 million. All right, Medeco, pay me my check. Actually, just, 50,000. But Rune, we'll count the entire time. Because if you're in the field picking, you have to account for, resetting. Now the trick will be to get the clip removed without get this clip removed without locking it back, because I don't have a key. Hey, Jeff. Good morning. Lockmania. 2 from Ruco Land this morning. That's awesome. All right. Let me make sure I keep my camera adjusted so this can stay in frame. Sorry if it's drifting any. All right. There we go. I think I've got it now. All right. So let's figure out how to get this clip off. Just that simple. I don't want to lock it back up. It's still unlocked. Let's see. Spring cover will slide right out. Yeah. Night Owl, that won't work with this one. Unless if, I guess I could, if all else fails, I guess I could slide that out, but I don't have a replacement cap. Yeah, I don't know, how would you take the tailpiece out of this thing? I mean, I could probably could get that back, pinned back down. I could, looks like this compresses right here, but I can see where that tailpiece is just blocking it. I don't see any way, of course, to remove the tailpiece. It's not a removable tailpiece or clip? Okay. So I do need to take it out through the top then. Is that what we're saying, Night Owl? And you can see here, yes, it is clearly picked. Try tipping it. Okay, and then squeezing on it. There's not a whole lot of play But I see... Oh, there we go. I think we slid. No. Dang it. Seems like I almost got it here. Okay. We're making progress here. Lock it back up. Yeah, let me see. I need to get a smaller, shorter flathead screwdriver for sure. Perhaps a trip to Harbor Freight is in order. Even though I really don't like their tools, something's better than nothing. I'll just go ahead and pre-apologize if there's any blood in this live episode. Is that pushed down like that? I don't know, that tailpiece might be wedged in there. What's that looking like to you, Night Owl? Does it look like success, or am I just gumming things up? Let's see. Okay, a little smaller one. Here we go. I'll just reset everything doing that. Wonder if it needs to be pulled up. Okay. Pull this up out of the way. You can see there, a little springy has gone in there. I don't reckon it. Ooh. I think I see our issue. It's not right over here. And yeah, that's it. Okay. I see it now. Yep. I believe when I rotate it, because there's not another notch on this thing, when I rotate it, it will allow this to slide out. And yes, I did just lock it back. Dadgummit. Damn it, Frank. Let's see here. Of course, I guess in the field, if you were doing this, in the field trying to not only non-destructively open it, but also disassemble it, you're gonna have to pig it to get it removed from whatever lock it was installed in, and then lock it up to do this, and then pick it again. Yeah, that's true, Night Owl. I could shim it. I'm not really good at shimming, honestly. Ooh, buddy. You can see there that the tailpiece is wanting to slide out. It's just getting a hold of this guy to get him out. Wonder if I need to tap it out. What do I have to set this on? Yeah, I've tried kind of walking it out, Night Owl, and it doesn't want to do that. Think maybe somehow I can push it out this way. Let me see. There we go. Well, if anybody wanted any proof that this lock has not been gimmicked with before, at least not by me, here it is, and the difficulty of disassembling it. Okay. there's not a lot of room right there. I am seeing more of a gap than I was. Let's see, do I have something even smaller than that to go in? Okay, that gap's getting bigger between the two, which is a good thing. Sorry about that. I was trying to get the light in a little bit closer, but I think I just broke my lamp. Okay, now I think the way it's actually going to be to drive this out. Now you guys see why I started this video extra early. That thing is in there. Okay, now see if we can't get some leverage off the housing. Doubt it. We're getting there. I don't know where we're getting, but we're getting there. All right, let me see. Good morning, Pocket Women. Pompeii Picker. Glad you're here. Appreciate it. Let's see, just a look in here at the comments and trying to figure out how we're going to do this. Let's see. Okay, the tailpiece is still kind of loose in there. Set that over there. Trying to look and see if it needs to be compressed anymore before it slides out, but I don't think so. There we go. All right, that slid out a bunch right there. Woohoo! And I broke my clip. Oh well. There's a part of it. I'm not sure where the other part went. So we got those two battles out of the way. Well then, we got it. So now, the question is, can I shim this guy easily enough where I don't have to pick it again? Okay. Got it in there. Using the shim to go in from the back. There we go. It's actually moving up quite nicely. Surprisingly. I suck at shimming locks open. Honestly. I do. Okay. All right, Lockmania. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Yeah, Rune, I wish I had a key for this one just to make it more complete. Let's see, are we able to turn? Nope. I think we're just hung up on pin 1 now. It's either 1 or 2. There we go. I don't think my sidebar is picked. Not sure if this is going to come out like this or not. Yep, there we go. Sweetness. Okay, so here you can see, for the record, there is a sidebar. It is in place. And I just dumped all my pins. That was lovely. Not what I meant to do. I don't have a key to it, so these guys saw the pins dump out. There's a bunch of master wafers in here, which probably made it easier to pick. And I'm just guessing at these master wafers right now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it did have 6 pins in it, because there's still a pin in 6 and there's a pin in 4. So we're going to say this one fell out of 5. Let's go in, get number 6 out of there. And a master wafer in 4. And there's the pin from 4. All right, now let's take this sidebar out. And you can see the springs are there. That's a convenient bit of sunlight to come in. Awesome. Yep, there's this tiny, tiny little springs from the sidebar. You can see there's a sidebar cut. There are all the chambers. Okay. And now we're going to take the top apart. Yeah, Don, I spilled my guts. You know, when I was a kid, my mom used to tell me I was bad about that. That I'd always, say everything that I wasn't supposed to say. I don't know really exactly what she was referring to. Yeah, right. Okay. Let's see. There's one. Yeah, night out. And there's a master wafer there. And here is the top pin. Spring. Yeah, I'm going to keep the top pins organized, and then we'll try to get everything totaled out. Because Medecos do rely on a good balanced pin stack in each chamber. I'm sorry about my lighting, guys. I would, you can see these pins coming out. I think I actually broke my lamp just a minute ago when I was trying to get it. All right, these last two are going to come out through this end. It's number 6. No security pins in this thing. Which actually, to me, makes it a little harder to pick with these high security locks. You can see there's a good visual in through the cylinder housing. And the cut for the sidebar you can see right there. Right here. So that's actually where that sidebar would fit into and act as a secondary locking mechanism. All right, so let's get zoomed in for a good close-up of all these pins. And again, the key pins spilled out because I was being careless, but I can reorganize them. Not sure if there were 2 master wafers here or if it dropped out maybe of chamber 5. But you can see all standard drivers, no security pins. All of the key pins, bottom pins, have the sidebar cuts in them. There we go. And each one of those sidebar cuts has to be angled just right so that the little teeth in this sidebar can fit into there and allow that sidebar to compress down in the groove of the plug so that it comes out of the groove on the cylinder housing, thus allowing the lock to turn. So, anyway, guys, wow. Let's look at let me get some stuff moved here, and then I'm going to move the camera back around. Okay. Motion warning. I guess I should have given a sound warning or earplug warning earlier when I brought out the hammer. You can see it's a nice day outside. It's just really chilly. All right, here we go. Finally done. Let's put some of these tools back where they go. I'll have to figure out a clip device of some sort to secure the plug back in that cylinder since I broke it, taking it apart. And who knows if you can even order one or find one again. But anyway, let's see here. Yeah, Don, I was an honest kid. Sometimes too honest. Either that or the problem was I was honest with everybody except my parents. I think that's it. I was probably more honest with perfect strangers than I was my own mom and dad. Or at least my mom. Mother and I have a kind of a love relationship. But anyway, let's see here. Rune makes a good point. Removing the master wafers will definitely make it harder to pick. Just because master wafers give you that little sort of margin of error in the shear line, and having them in at least 4, possibly all 5 of the 6 chambers definitely gives it. Anytime you have master wafers stacked up, more than one master wafer stacked up in the same chamber, it gives you an even wider margin of error. Let's see here. Yeah, Fred, they're all security pins in the end. Yeah, and Night Owl, you don't really need security pins when you have a sidebar that's active. Um, that has to be picked as well. So, it's definitely this is not a lock that you definitely um, it's not a quick set. It's not a Schlage. Even those really um, interesting those Schlage Everest cylinders that I got with a couple of the lever locks that I put on the house. Where they took the check pins out and replaced them with standard plugs, which again, I don't see why would you waste a whole Everest housing on that. But anyway, even those that had a little, tighter tolerances, those took longer to pick, but still not nearly this long. Yes, it took longer to disassemble the whole lock than it did to pick it. But that's the name of the game in lock security, physical security, is to make it take as much time as possible for the bad guys to defeat it. Make it take more time. It will fail eventually. The question is, how long will it take to fail? Quick set, 5 seconds. Medeco, 20 minutes maybe? 30 minutes. If I had never picked that Medeco before, would it take longer? Maybe, probably. So it depends. I'm not trying to claim that, you can get through a Medeco with anything. If I just had a really weird thought, I'm sure everybody may have thought this at some point, but I'm thinking right now of a certain YouTuber who likes to insert himself into the lock sport community, whom I will not name. I bet he would claim that bump keys could open a Medeco. I would say that he would probably claim that you could bump open a Medeco. Which in theory, if you knew the skew cuts of the lock, could work. But again, if you knew the skew cuts in that particular lock, then why don't you just make a key? Obviously you've taken it apart somehow, but I'm sure he would have a reason for that. But anyway, I digress. Let's see. Thank you, Pocket Woman. Yeah, Don. Yes, I know I was too slow for it. I was too slow. I did not get the million Monopoly dollars. Darn. When I finally get this guy picked with all 6 top pins and all the sidebar pins in it, then I don't think time should matter. I'll still work on that every week. That's a V10 twin. Yeah, Fred. Even when I first got my first Medecos and I was learning how to pick, I've followed Log Picking Lawyer for a long time, and I know some of y'all don't like his videos, and I wish he would sort of go back to some earlier roots, so to speak. But I communicate every now and again, and I asked him way back when I got the first 2 Medecos from Bill Bacardi. I asked him, I said, you don't have hardly anything about Medeco on your channel. And he said, yeah, no, not really. And so, it does, it does take a while to pick it. It takes somebody to make it interesting. Doing this is, a long video. It was probably boring. It was probably good to go to sleep to. But I got it eventually. My point for doing it on live video, not just video, because video you can cut. Video you can be creative with. Even I can be creative with video. And all I have to do it on is my phone. But doing it on live makes it so much harder to say that this was faked. This was gimmicked. Something was left out. Blah, blah, blah. From now on, from this day forward, anytime I meet a locksmith and I reveal to them the fact that I've picked Medeco locks, plural, this will be the video that I will refer them to. And I hope that the locksmith that I met the other day is watching or does watch this video. It shows, yes, I am willing to put my ass where my mouth is. That did not come out right. I'm willing to put myself on the line willing to put myself on the line to show, yes, I did this. It's a live video, start to finish. There's nobody else in here with me. Not even a cat. A shop cat would be nice though, but nah. Anyway, yeah, I did it start to finish, took it apart, figured out how to take it apart. Obviously, that lock had not been taken apart in a long time. I broke pieces, broke the retaining clip on it, taking it apart. So yeah, this is my definitive Medeco lock picking video for now, till I make one that's better. And remember, I still have this jumbo cylinder to pick. Yeah, I did try to pick this one on live one time, but I had to get it with 5 pins instead of 6. This one can be a bear. So yeah, next time. So anyway, let's look here. Yeah, Night Owl, I think I read about that for bumping Medeco. And I think that's where I picked up on, knowing, about the skew cuts and being able to do that. What would be really, really interesting is to get that individual to make a video claiming that you could bump a Corbin high security. I would pay money to see that video. I actually would. And for him to do it and prove that nothing was gimmicked. Anyway, let's see. Room. The Acid Twin, I'm getting close to getting it with all 6 pins, all 6 top pins in there. I can do 5 pins. The top 5, the 5 vertical pins. Sidebar's completely removed. That's going to be the next phase of learning. I've learned it through with the regular pins. And with 6 pins, I have not gotten it. Or excuse me, I did get it one time picked, and I think it was luck because I was paying more attention to the television than I was the lock itself, and it fell open once. So I doubt that it'll be on live. Especially, not next week. Let's see here. Yeah, Miko. When you have an audience that is with you, especially one that is paying you, yes, there's a pressure. A coworker of mine, another, fellow officer of mine, his elderly mother locked herself out of her house back last year, and he called and asked me if I would, come by and let her in, and they were just hanging out on the front porch, and it took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there, and fortunately it wasn't too hot or anything, but, she was there, he was there, the neighbor was over visiting, and it was just a quick set, and it was only the knob, and, still, quick set knobs can be tricky sometimes when you've got an audience, when it's, kind of loose in the housing. Yeah, there's definitely a challenge. I'm not saying that, every lock you can just snap your fingers. If I had somebody who was paying me to open this lock and they had been sitting here the whole time, I would have probably just gave the lock back to them and said, don't worry about it, just go somewhere else. I can't do it, That's, that's it. Rune, I would love to learn magic tricks, but, I try. Going back to my school days, I had a couple of 7th graders who showed me a little card trick that they had learned, and they were pretty decent at it. I sort of saw the sleight of hand, kind of, but they were still decent at it. And I told them I was going to show them a trick. And I brought in the next day at lunch, I brought in an Avis 80 Ti that I had in the car, and pulled it out, sat down. And after about 10 minutes, they just started giggling at me, saying, yeah, okay, you basically, you were lying to us. I'm like, no, really, I can do it. And they're like, yeah, okay. Let's see, yeah. Yeah, night out. Bumping on a Corbin Husky. Yeah. I mean, I know how they work. You obviously know how they work. And that would be completely... I think you would need Jedi powers to bump a Corbin High Security. Either that or a sonic screwdriver. Hey, Doubt. Good morning. Thank you for dropping by. Or, yes, it's early morning for you as well. Wow, I've got a lot of people from down under today. Dawn, Pocket Women, you, Doubt. Awesome. Let's see. All right, I'm going to start going ahead and winding this up. I've been going along for an hour and a half now. Anyway, I appreciate everybody, who came by, everybody who gave support. Thank you all for giving advice, trying to get this daggone thing taken apart. So let's go ahead and wind it up. Appreciate everybody. Again, hope everybody's staying healthy and safe. We're just now starting to reopen shopping malls and some retail businesses here in North Carolina. Cases are going up, but testing is also going up as well. So more people are getting tested, which of course is going to show more positives. But anyway, hope everybody's healthy. Hope everybody's safe. I am going to jump off of here and go find a snack because my breakfast sucked this morning. The chocolate milk was sour. The eggs were watery. Bacon was okay. And I'm getting a dry throat. But anyway, all right. Appreciate it, y'all. We will see y'all, some of y'all over at Jason's Live in about an hour, I guess. And others, we'll see y'all next time. Stay out of trouble. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And appreciate y'all. Thanks again.